Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, October 6, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the US National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that now Tropical Storm Philippe is finally out of the picture, and all we have left is that area right there off the coast of Africa that now has a 60% chance of tropical storm or cyclone or hurricane formation within the next 7 days as it moves towards the west, then towards the northwest. So definitely another out to sea system. Let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a tropical wave right there across portions of the central Caribbean. It was this tropical wave that was bringing some amount of thunderstorm activity to sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands yesterday. It has now pushed up towards the west, so it's definitely making its way closer to the Jamaica area. So definitely maybe by Sunday into Monday we might get in on some of that rainfall associated with it. We can also see that we have another tropical wave across the main development region. Taking a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave now bringing some amount of thunderstorm activity to sections of the Dominican Republic and western Puerto Rico. We can also see the clouds left back associated with Tropical Storm Philippe, but it's no longer a tropical storm at this time. We can also see the clouds associated with that other tropical wave across the central portion of the main development region. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday. It was stated that sections of northern Jamaica would be getting in on that afternoon rainfall on Friday. And when we say northern Jamaica, we know we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page, not only our Twitter page but our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok page, highlighting the visible satellite images showing clouds bring some amount of overcast skies and isolated thunder showers to sections of some northern parishes. So definitely Portland, St. Mary, St. Ann, Trelawney, St. James got in on some of that, and even northern sections of some southern parishes got in on some of that rainfall as well. Then later on a post was made at 4:45 p.m. highlighting the infrared satellite images showing those high cold cloud tops as indicated by those blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds and blacks. Not to mention the sparkling white dots that represent some amount of lightning flashes if not lightning strikes. So definitely those very same spots, northern parishes, Portland, St. Mary, St. Ann, Trelawney, St. James, and even sections of Hanover got in on some of that afternoon thunderstorm activity. And we even have some confirmation from some of our commenters on our Instagram page. Tia Jima Escasa stating patchy drizzles where I'm on the northern side. Sapphire Willie Marsh 29N stating raining in Mobay. Then we had Pansy 613 stating rain in St. Ann. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, definitely those spots that were just mentioned, and we even got in on some of that just as mentioned across sections of some northern, sections of some southern parishes. So sections of northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester, northern St. Thomas got in on some of that afternoon rainfall. Then by now, in the latest infrared satellite images, we saw that majority of those thunderstorms had died down, making way for clearer skies for the night. So definitely we're going to be seeing some stars and the moon. Taking a look at the Cuban Doppler radar images right now, we do see some isolated rainfall but not on land, definitely out to sea, sections of the southwest right there, not to mention to the north of Jamaica. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation by the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see where we indeed had that rainfall, mainly across sections of some northern parishes for today as indicated by those colors. So this definitely confirms what we just saw in the satellite images. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by 3 a.m. On Sunday morning, we can see that the temperatures in both Montego Bay and Kingston should get down to 25 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see more in the way of some yellows that represent at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures across the island of Jamaica. Both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing 18:00 on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. We know that when both of them are showing consensus like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. We know the monthly temperatures for October across Jamaica is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Saturday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that majority of the dry air is right here across the eastern portion of the Caribbean, as indicated by those yellows, oranges, gold kind of colors. Jamaica area should be in the blues. Definitely a lot of moist air across our area. As relates to the Saharan dust, for 2 p.m. on Saturday, we can see where the Saharan dust is going to be, as indicated by those slight brown shades, the eastern to the central Caribbean. But that's the low scale, that's the low end of the scale. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see that dark brown color, that vigorous shade that represents some vigorous plume of Saharan dust right there off the coast of Africa, and we hope it stays that way. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we do see Jamaica surrounded by those light blue colors on both the Euro and the GFS forecast for Saturday. That represents anywhere from 0 to 0.5 meter wave height, and that's due to the fact that the winds are not going to be that strong. Look at these colors, some blue shades that represent maybe even up to 5 knot winds coming in from mainly the southeast across the island for tomorrow. And then we have all of that air piling up across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. So definitely might have in on some amount of afternoon convection for Saturday. And with the upper level winds coming in from, let's say, the northeast by 1 p.m. on Saturday on both the Euro and the GFS mall, that's definitely going to make way for more of that thunderstorm activity when it develops during the afternoon. Some of those clouds will be blown out towards the southwest, bringing more in the way of overcast skies and some isolated thunder showers to sections of some southern parishes. But with the low level flow coming in from the south, definitely northern parishes are going to be getting in on that rainfall. So it makes sense that we're going to be getting more of the rainfall across, let's say, sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica, not necessarily northern parishes like what we had today. So definitely parishes in the county of Surrey, eastern parishes, Middlesex, central parishes, and western parishes, Cornwall, definitely going to be getting in some amount of afternoon rainfall. And we can see that on the precipitation forecast. These maps are showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And we do see the blues across those various spots that were just mentioned, sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And considering that the low level flow is coming in from the southeast, definitely northern parishes are going to be getting the brunt of that rainfall, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be rainfall on the south coast. So we can see those darker shades of blues on the GFS across sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, but it's more in the way of some northern sections of those southern parishes that we're going to be seeing that rainfall. Skipping ahead the evening hours now, this is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 p.m. Jamaica time. We do see much of the same, that rainfall across sections of some northern parishes, some eastern parishes, especially on the GFS mall where we see those darker shades of blue. We're definitely going to be getting in on some amount of rainfall on Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We know that's 6 p.m. Jamaica time. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast by both the Euro and the GFS malls, keeping in mind that both of these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday, we do see there's a consensus in terms of the rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. But as it relates to the rainfall totals, we see that the GFS is a bit more robust, showing up to 0.8 of an inch of rainfall, close to an inch of rainfall. Maybe some isolated flash flooding might take place, while the Euro is showing only up to 0.52 of an inch of rainfall. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. We're in the month of October. We're getting all the rainfall thus far. Recently just checked out the National Water Commission's page, and we're actually up to 100% on the rainfall. Let's see if I can find it and show it to you all. So we're actually up to 100% on what the National Water Commission is showing for the dam level, not necessarily the Mona Reservoir, but definitely the dam level. We're talking about the Hermitage Dam. So definitely 100% is what is being shown. If I can find it for us quickly. Almost there. Okay, here we have it. Alright, so it was posted on October 4. Today is the 6th, so that was 2 days ago. So the drought watch, it says keep your taps turned off when there is a supply disruption, as when the water returns you may be unaware and the pipes would be left running. So apparently the area where the Hermitage Dam is has been getting some amount of rainfall, because now they're at 100% capacity, and the Mona Reservoir is only at 51% capacity. Either way, it's still packing more in the way of water than what the Hermitage Dam is consisting of at this time, considering that the reservoir is a bit bigger than the dam, so it makes much sense. So we're indeed grateful that we've been getting some amount of rainfall across the Jamaica area to put some kind of a dent in the drought. We still want the reservoir to get back to 100% capacity, especially before we get into the dry season next year. You know, the peak of the dry season is definitely around February, March, especially the month of February. Lots of bushfires and so on, fire trucks going up all over the place. So hopefully we get it filled before the month of October ends. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we do see we have some amount of isolated thunder showers taking place across sections of Venezuela today, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, sections of Honduras, Nicaragua as usual, El Salvador, Guatemala, sections of Cuba, sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we'll see where we indeed had that isolated rainfall, maybe across sections of Puerto Rico, not so much across the Leeward Islands for today, so it was mainly confined to sections of Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. The Barbados radar shows some rainfall that came in from the east for today. Some isolated spot, sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Grenada definitely got on some amount of afternoon thunder showers. And we can see some rainfall into sections of Tobago, some coming into sections of eastern Trinidad tonight as well. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we do see that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of Cuba, Honduras, sections of Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula right there. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we do see some slightly above normal temperatures to above normal temperatures with some orange colors, especially across the northeastern Caribbean for Saturday's 1 p.m. time period. Definitely going to still be getting in on that above normal temperature. We want to see more in the way of blues and greens, some cool temperatures, but that's situated across majority of the US at that time. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we do see that 2 p.m. on Saturday has that slight hazy weather still across sections of the eastern, especially southeastern Caribbean, Windward Islands, and sections of the central Caribbean to sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, not so much Jamaica or the western Caribbean at all. As it relates to the wave forecast, we can see that majority of the central and western Caribbean is still getting in on that low end of waves, anywhere from 0 to 0.54 meter. That's what the light blue represents, while the dark blue anywhere from 1 meter to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's due to the fact that the strongest winds are going to be in the eastern Caribbean, averaging maybe up to 15 to 20 knots. Western Caribbean, more in the way of blues, they represent anywhere from 0 knots to up to at least 10 knot winds. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast, we can see that we are gonna be indeed in for some amount of isolated rainfall across sections of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic might get on some amount of rainfall that could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding as indicated by those red. Sections of Puerto Rico, especially southern Puerto Rico, might get on some amount of rainfall. Guadeloupe, sections of Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda might get on some amount of isolated rainfall. But we do see the concentration right there across sections of the Windward Islands. So sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago definitely has to do with that rainfall that they're getting right now. So it might spill into Saturday as well. We do see the consensus, not much rainfall in store. Not much rainfall in store for sections of French Guiana, Suriname or Guyana, but definitely sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico right there. And we know that when both maps are showing the same thing like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.